Yeah, y'all saw the title, and I just couldn't resist. Now, see, there are so many things that we can say about this. Of course, y'all saw the photos in the beginning. I had to entertain folk and kind of be a little bit sarcastic. Before we go into this, let me say a few things. I'll say the one thing about me, and then I'll also say a few things. First off, I have no qualms with people dating outside their race. Never have. And never understood people who took offense to it without knowing people on an individual basis. On a macro level, given the animosity in this country, let's not play stupid. Understandably, seeing that still hurts some people due to the history in this country. So, based on your experience and based on the macro level society, I get it. On a micro level, some people don't date or marry outside of their races for the reason that you may think. When you see a couple down the street, those are two individuals that you don't really know. So you can't fathom why they are together, and you can't say it's solely because of their skin color. Sometimes people's actions will give them away. Okay? I'm going to say a few things. It's no coincidence, in my opinion, that this story is coming out on Memorial Day weekend when everybody, regardless of race, are out having barbecues and distracted. See, they needed people distracted because they figured nobody would talk about this. And of course, this is going to be all on YouTube. So let's not pretend that it's not. Okay? It's obvious that there was some self-hate with Telbo Rackins, without a doubt. I'm of the persuasion that he was old enough that if that's who he was, and he represented that in his tweets, and to my knowledge, he probably never repented of it, that's who he was. I'm also of the persuasion that he's dead and gone and can't defend himself. Okay? I'm not here to defend him. I'm going to be real with you. I'm indifferent to this. I'm just reporting it because I knew this was going to be the outcome. It's true that every race has someone in their own race who does not like dating within their race. I've seen videos of it. I've had people from a particular group saying I would never date the women or the men of my group in secret conversations I won't get in. It ain't just black people that do this. And I get it that we're the ones that have a bigger presence, particularly foundational black Americans having conversation about this, but we're hardly the only people in real life that have these conversations. I don't necessarily think not dating in your group makes you a self-hating person, although I think Telbo Rackins was. I do believe that sometimes the cultural association with being with certain people in your own group is the reason you don't date them. But let's be honest, the bad mouthing isn't just a foundational black American thing. Every race of people have their own people that will pull these games. It's also true that if you have proximity to law enforcement, as Hannah Cobb does, that gives you an edge up, and they're going to nitpick and find something to help you get off, which happened in this case. Okay? So let's not pretend that that had nothing to do with it. Your proximity to certain power structures helps you get by with things. That's very true. So let's get to the article. It's popping up soon. Y'all all know the story. This guy at like between 3 to 6 in the morning was unalived by either his white wife or girlfriend somewhere in the United States. I forgot where Telbo and this woman's from. That's sad because I can't even think of the man's real name. I just think of his pen name, Telbo Rackins. Hannah Cobb claims that she unalived him accidentally while cleaning a gun after they had come back from the club and had been fighting. Mind you, there's a few neighbors who said that they had seen her be possessive and controlling of him. So it's possible that he could have been a victim and she just needed to hush him up. We won't ever know, because in person, when you saw the photos of him with his little blonde blessing, the two of them act loved up like nothing was wrong. There could have been some dysfunctional couple stuff going on where both of them participated. We just don't know. What we do know is that these two are the parents of a few beautiful children. She claims to have shot him after cleaning a gun, which why even myself, who don't own a gun, would you have a fully loaded gun and cleaning it at the same time? Still super sus to me. Then it comes out after he's unalived that he, number one, has some tweets about I'll go to the grave for her, or things like that. Remember, I can't use certain wording on here. Things like I won't beat up a white dude, but I'll beat down a black guy all day. Just weird self-hating stuff. Say what you want. If you understand why this man said what he said about black women, it doesn't explain the other self-hating things. Then there was the one that I particularly found offensive. I'll sleep with a dog before I'll sleep with a black woman, but it has to be a white dog though. And a lot of y'all in this story stuck with the fact that he said he would sleep with a dog and a white dog. I couldn't get past the fact that it was a dog to begin with. I can't with bestiality. And this is the reason when this story came up. It's like, I hope he was able to repent. And you never know what somebody's last moments before he went to the Most High. Because that's not even something that you joke about. So, I'm going to conclude this quick video with two things and two ways I feel about this. First, I knew she was going to get off. When I found out either that father or that uncle's law enforcement, they're going to find some way to nitpick, and they're going to take an opportune time when no one's paying attention to get her off. Not that it matters, because from what I've gathered from this story, when I was keeping up with it without making a video, most foundational black Americans could care less about Telbo Rackins. My position is, if you don't want to sleep with the women of your own race, just get another woman. You ain't got to declare that you would sleep with a dog. Some stuff, just because you feel it in your heart, you can't say it out loud. Okay, and that's going to segue to my second point. People say things like actions speak louder than words. That's a lie. And the reason I say that is because the fact that he said these things made people more mad than the action of actually having a Caucasian partner. Which, come on, in the time we live in, that's a whole lot more common than it was back then. Okay? A few people touched on this. So I'm going to go ahead and speak my quick opinion on it. I believe his going into the afterlife has to do with his words rather than his actions. You're going to pay for what you say. And when men go online, I'll go to the grave for her and I'll do this. Even if you're married, I don't think people should make lofty declarations about allowing yourself to go into the afterlife for someone. He said he was going to go to the grave for this woman, and guess what she did? She made his wish come true. Again, the whole thing is sus to me, but we never know what happened. Okay? You're going to pay for what you say. To me, the reason I couldn't support him is not because of the stuff he said about black women. And I know that's going to be treacherous as myself a black woman. Because if you say that and I hear you say it, my thing is, okay, process of elimination, I'm not your cup of tea. Cool. I'm married anyway, but that's not the point. I'm saying if I were single, you're just a stranger who made some comments, some unsavory comments online. So my thing is, while I have no celebration for how this man went into the afterlife, at the same time I'm not here to defend him. I am gonna tell you that committing an act physically isn't sometimes different than saying words. So when people say actions speak louder than words, you can see action, so of course you say that. I just could not see myself supporting someone who mocked the Most High. Because to say that you would rather sleep with a dog, period, I don't care the color of the dog, than be with another race of women, when you could have just never messed with those races of women at all, to me is mocking his creation. Now that's just me. Me not liking this dude had nothing to do with his self-hatred. To me, that's quite sad. Had nothing to do with his preference for white women, because that's his preference. He was gonna live that way, and people being angry about it wasn't gonna help. However, you're entitled to not invite him to the cookout, and you are entitled to say he was messed up. Things like you'll just beat down black men randomly, but not a white one, it told to his pathology. But my thing is, for me personally, because of a fervent belief in God, I can't get past that type of blasphemy. That's just me. No person, in my opinion, should entertain the ideal, no matter how drastic in the human world, of crossing over to species. I don't care who you are. So my not supporting this man has to do with his blasphemy. That's not something you even joke about, much less come out and say some stuff that you think even though your thoughts are just as bad as your words or actions. I think they're all equally bad, but they don't all have equal outcomes. And they wouldn't, because you could say or declare you're going to go after somebody and cause them physical harm and never do it. But the act of causing them physical harm could land you in prison. That's why people say actions speak louder than words, but this man's words bothered people. And I get we are a nuanced species, right? Some people took offense to what this man said. I didn't. My thing was process of elimination. You told me who you were and I believed you. What I could never get past, okay, is the mockery of the Most High's creative order. And the I'd rather sleep with a dog. Even if he thought that that was not something he should have ever put online, because that's going to resonate with his name for eternity now. There is no taking that back, and that we know of, he had no remorse for that. It's the bestiality for me. If he had lived up to 100 and never slept with another black woman, and I am black, that's hyper irrelevant to me. Number one, because he was good 10 or more years younger than me anyway. So when someone's out of your range, you don't worry about that. My issue is the bestiality. All right, tell me what y'all think. You can't be naive. This woman, based on her proximity to a power structure, was gonna get off. I'm not a gun hater, and I'm not that smart with guns, but it would be common sense when you come back from a club and the sky isn't up and you can barely see, and you've been arguing, that you don't clean a loaded gun. But what do I know? I'm just here to down the bestiality. All right, y'all continue to enjoy your Memorial Day weekend. I said if this story came up, I was gonna touch on it. Let me know what y'all think. Have a blessed week.